Francis Mwangi wa Wawira kuma kaunti-ini ya Waru, Miji na Iria, kaunti ya Nyandarua. Ndirakwendithiria thigũkũ njega ya Kirithimathi na mwaka mwerũ wina umithio. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oya mzito. Wewe. Hebu kam nikuplug. Niko na ile kitu imebamba kila mtu kutoka Maslay Queen wote hadi wazae. Hii kitu ni noma kuruka. Kitu kali itakupeleka dunia ingine. Hii stuff ni kama magic. Ni wewe tu umebaki mse. Hapa utaweza kuexperience EPL yote. Magame haziwezi kupita na pia unaweza pata ma statistics manze. Na bado kuna ma movies, series, soaps, cartoons na documentaries. Na kama wewe ni msichana like ma podcast, live radio, DJ mixes na hata live television, hapa uko sorted. Na unajua ni aje? Ni sare. Ni sare kabisa. Download the K24 Plus app upate free premium shows bila kesi.
Stream premium content popote ulipo. K24 Plus. Come nikuplug.
Mweri thate wa Disemba, Kameme hayo kamwigi turakurehera tumo ya gututhereria to 2024 Korea Upsa Grounds kurigania na KCA University Thika Road ekarumione Moigai wa Njoroge Wahome wa Maigi Ben Githai Regina Aganewe Karagwa Muraya Joyce Mama Mzima Waithaka wa Jane Nagyaige Kameme kayo kamuigi turarogeria mwaka Korea Upsa Grounds kurigania na KCA University Thika Road. Koigera VIP 1,500 VVIP 2,000 advance tickets no matano majomo.
Kuma Kirejaga Kire Biroiro Kia Jahi Mutamburuko Wa Nyandarua Orerorera Kameme TV.
Nigikeno kinene oro ringi gukorwo tukinyitanira nawe thiini wa mitambo ino ya ceceni ya Kameme TV umuthi ari muthenya wa muthia kana hwaini wa muthia tukiinikiriria mwaka wa 2023 tukorwo tukiruga mwaka na kuingira mwaka ungi mweru wa 2024 ni tariki 31 mweri ni wa Gatumu no korwo gitwandikira ndumiriri ciaku gitwira hihi ni matanya mariku wirigirire mwaka-ini mweru na hihi ni maundu mariku marakunengerete kana marakurituhire mwaka uyu turagithi kuinikiriria hwaini wa umuthi. Ni mwihoko witu wigutindia thayo hwaini waku ni muhoreru. Reke twambe tumurike mamwe ma maria mari thiini wa mutamburuko-ini uyu witu wa mohoro. Matemo ma mutamburuko wa mohoro. Andũ mũgwanja gũkwĩra mũtino-inĩ wa barabara taũni-inĩ ya Naikuru thutha wa turere ĩmwe gũte mwerekera na kũgũtha ngari ya ũkui wa mũingĩ. Borithi kaunti-inĩ ya Nyeri gũthatia mũcemanio ũrĩa gũthaganĩtio wa mahoya ma mũthia wa mwaka marĩa makũbangĩtwo nĩ mũteti Maina Njenga. Mũtongoria wa Azimio Raila Odinga kuga kũrĩ na ũhotekeku wa mĩrũrũngano gũcokereria mwaka ũkĩte gũkũ agĩtetia thirikari nĩ ũndũ wa ngarama ya mũtũrĩre. Ataramu a maũndũ ma kĩwonjoria kũigĩrĩra ratiri-inĩ ũrĩa wonjoria ũrakũrire mwaka ũyũ gũkũ makĩonania ndariri cia atĩ a Kenya nĩ makũgatha mũcibi mwaka wa 2024. Njĩtagwo Gathoni wa Ng'ang'a, tũgũkorwo tũgĩteithania na Nyambura wa Mũca mwathĩrĩri witũ na njĩra ya ciĩko. Tũkĩambĩrĩria na riboti ya kĩeha, andũ mũgwanja nĩ makuire kĩroko kĩa ũmũthĩ na angĩ 12 matigwo na nguraro thutha wa gũkuruhanio mũtino-inĩ mũru wa barabara mũthiũrũrũko-inĩ wa Everready barabara-inĩ nene ya Naikuru gũthiĩ Eldoret. Agĩkĩra ndeto ĩno mũkonde, kamanda wa borithi sub county-inĩ ya Naikuru West Francis Wahome nĩaugĩte mũtino ũyũ hanĩkire thutha wa turere ĩmwe ĩrĩa gũkuĩte mbembe gũte mwerekera na gũcoka kũgũtha matatũ ĩmwe ĩrĩa ĩgũkuĩte athii na gũcũngĩrĩria mũtino ũyũ. Mũthiũrũrũko-inĩ wa barabara ya Everready barabara-inĩ nene ya Naikuru gũthiĩ Eldoret nĩho andũ mũgwanja matereire mĩoyo yao thutha wa gũkuruhanio mũtino-inĩ mũru ũrĩa ũhanĩkire mathaa-inĩ ma kĩroko kĩa ũmũthĩ.
Hii gari ikatoka juu ya mahindi, hii transist. After itoka juu ilipiga honi mingi sana. So from there ndio ilishika hiyo Nissan ikararua pande moja. Wenye walikuwa ndani sisi ndio tumewaokoa, tumeweka kwa skeja imewapeleka mocha.
Huyu ameaga ni rafiki yangu. Jioni tulikuwa na yeye. Saa hii asubuhi nimefika soko mahali tunapatana nikapata hajafika. Ndio nimefika nimepata kweli vireti ni yake, lakini mwenyewe sijampata, nimepata amebeba. Andũ angĩ 12 arĩa matigirwo na nguraro njũru thutha wa mũtino ũyũ no marathiĩ na mbere na kwamũkĩra ũrigitani thibitarĩ-inĩ mũnene wa Naikuru.
Of those we had 2 females and 10 males. So far 2 of the gentlemen have been seen and discharged. They just had some soft tissue injuries, but they were stable enough to be released from the hospital. 3 have been admitted to the ward so far with multiple injuries. Most of our victims had either fractures or head injuries.
Agĩkĩra ndeto ĩno mũkonde, sub-county kamanda wa borithi wa Nakuru West Francis Wahome nĩaugĩte turere ĩmwe ĩrĩa gũkuĩte mbembe nĩyo ĩtuire bureki na gũcoka gũte mwerekera mũthia-inĩ yacoka kũgũtha matatũ ĩmwe mũthemba wa Nissan ĩrĩa gũkuĩte athii kuma Ngata gũthiĩ taũni-inĩ ya Naikuru.
Kuna matatu ambayo ilikuwa ina negotiate those rubble strips.
Riboti yake ha muno makiria. Na rĩu kwa ihinda rĩrĩ mũtongoria wa bũrũri Ndagĩtarĩ William Ruto nĩ hĩndĩ ararekereria ndũmĩrĩri yake ya gũkĩiyũkia mwaka ũkĩte mwaka mwerũ wa 2024 na nĩ aragĩthiĩ na mbere na gũkĩrekereria ndũmĩrĩri yake thĩinĩ wa thingira wa Iregi kaunti-inĩ ya Naikuru. Ndenda tũgũthiĩ ĩmwe kwa ĩmwe nginya kaunti-inĩ ya Naikuru tũthikĩrĩrie ndũmĩrĩri ya President William Ruto.
Rising interest rates in America, and the unfortunate effects of climate change that occasioned the most severe drought in 40 years. All these factors slowed down our economic performance, resulting in increased commodity prices. Fertilizers and cereals experienced significant price hikes, contributing to the rise in food prices and the overall cost of living. To manage, moderate, and overcome these difficulties, this year became the year of a complete paradigm shift in the handling of our national issues. We collectively summoned the courage to make bold, decisive, far-reaching and long-term decisions to once and for all put our country on the path to attaining its full socio-economic potential. The choices we've made over the last year were neither easy, populist, nor convenient. They were, however, meaningful, appropriate, and necessary. In the short term, painful, but in the long term, gainful. 2023 is the year we decided to stop wastage and extravagance, instead opting to live within our means. We decided to cut expenditure by up to 400 billion shillings so as to reduce our borrowing. We decided to enhance our tax revenues by Kenya shillings 600 billion to fund our programs and development so as to safeguard our sovereignty and independence. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly cannot be independent if we are enslaved by monumental debt, as has been the case. We take pride in the strides we've made as a nation. We have triumphed over the threat of economic stagnation and are now in secure space with regard to our sovereign debt obligations. Inflation has reduced to 6.8%, and our GDP is growing at a rate of 5.4%, placing Kenya as the 29th fastest growing economy in the world. In 2023, we decided to get rid of consumption subsidies that not only drove our nation into deeper financial distress, but were also unsustainable, opaque, and only benefited middlemen at the expense of those who truly deserved support. Instead, we deliberately redirected our focus to support production through incentives in our crops, livestock, and fisheries programs. Today, with the blessing of good weather, thanks to God, these interventions have enabled us to increase our food productivity by 40% at a fraction of the previous cost. Working with farmers, our foremost patriots, we shall double our efforts in 2024 until we reduce our Kenya shillings 500 billion food import bill to zero and rid our country of the shame of hunger. In 2023, we decided that growing our economy, as has been the case in the past, was not enough. Change was an inevitable imperative. As such, we rolled out an economic growth model intentionally designed to be inclusive, deliberately expanding opportunities and creating jobs. Millions of jobs, all types of jobs, construction jobs, technical jobs, digital jobs, as well as entrepreneurial opportunities, both locally and abroad. Our housing program, for example, not only provides decent home ownership for millions, including some slum dwellers who now live in squalor, but it also aims to reverse agricultural land fragmentation and has already created 120,000 jobs, with plans to employ an even greater multiple of people next year. For the first time, my Mama Mboga and Boda Boda friends will now have a chance to own a home in our Kenya shillings 4,000 a month, 3% interest rate tenant purchase scheme. That will be the case for other Kenyans on our 6% affordable housing and 9% market housing program. All these housing programs will be at a single-digit interest rates, which is half the current rates. ladies and gentlemen, our digital superhighway infrastructure with 22,000 computers being supplied is already creating thousands of jobs in our technical and vocational education and training institutions. Even as we roll out our ICT hubs in every ward and every constituency in Kenya. Our international jobs program is well on course, having negotiated many bilateral labor agreements to open up opportunities for employment for Kenyans globally. Our collective efforts have not only rescued us from economic paralysis, but propelled us towards a brighter future. We navigated complex debt situations, accelerated economic progress, and invested significantly in our human capital. Recognizing the pivotal role of education, we increased allocation to the education sector by Kenya shillings 127 billion, which enabled us enhanced capitation for our learners, bringing us closer to the dream of universal education from ECD to the tertiary level. We also employed 56,000 teachers to improve access to quality education throughout Kenya. We have equally made immense progress in promoting financial inclusion and dignity of Kenyans at the lower economic echelons. The Hustler Fund and the NSSF new contribution model exemplify our dedication to inclusive growth, financial well-being, and social security for all Kenyans. We have made affordable credit available to millions of Kenyans who for years were alienated and underserved by financial institutions. The Hustler Fund has disbursed over Kenya's shillings 42 billion to Kenyans in just 1 year, making it the largest financial inclusion program in Kenya. And most importantly, over 7 million Kenyans are now regular customers, transacting and doing business, freed from the bondage of Shylocks and predatory lenders. Kenyans who would otherwise not make it beyond the watchman at the financial institution now access close to 100 million shillings from the Hustler Fund every single day. We shall continue to improve and expand the range of products offered under this revolutionary intervention. Similarly, our universal health coverage program has set in motion a transformative approach to health delivery. With 100,000 community health promoters actively contributing to the betterment of our nation's health, we are witnessing the tangible impact of our dedication to the well-being of people. In the new year, we continue our health transformation at the secondary and tertiary health levels, emphasizing the need for a fair contribution system for social health insurance, as the previous setup disproportionately burdened and alienated low-income earners from accessing health care. For the first time, ladies and gentlemen, every Kenyan, without exception, will have health insurance, and all Kenyans will access treatment, including for notorious chronic conditions like cancer, hypertension, and diabetes without discrimination. These are only brief highlights of the work done and progress made this year. I acknowledge we do not have a strong history of commitment to positive transformation or a culture of consistent promise-keeping in our political leadership. This may explain why many anticipated that this administration would abandon the commitments we made under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It is in this context, for example, that I understand the invitation by some for us not to honor our commitment on account that they are either too onerous or simply unattainable. For the record, I want to tell them, we are breaking new ground and charting a new political culture for Kenya. Instead of excuses to abandon our nation's transformation, I invite the skeptics, opponents, and the indifferent to change their perspective and embrace our new paradigm shift to pursue inclusive growth with a sense of urgency, where leaders say what they mean and mean what they say. Yet, as we celebrate all the achievements made so far, a number of our policies, programs, and other strategic interventions aimed at delivering necessary and urgent interventions of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda have been delayed, obstructed, and hampered by various challenges, including persistent litigation. There is nothing wrong with challenging policy and holding government to account. And in fact, the national interest is best safeguarded in an environment defined by the competition of progressive ideas, where a good proposal gives way to a better one. We all have a duty to make sure that the best ideas always prevail in enhancing the well-being of the people and making this nation prosperous and powerful. That is what our democracy exists to achieve. Having said this, you will agree with me that there is something fundamentally wrong with opposition without any viable alternative, whose only purpose is division, conflict, and anarchy. There is something wrong with litigation sponsored by hostage-taking vested interests with the sole aim to delay, derail, and sabotage the delivery of public programs and defeat public interest. Time and time again, Kenyans have clearly and manifestly demonstrated their devotion to pursuing opportunities for progress by voting for progressive policies, as they did in the last election. Kenyans are ready to propel their nation forward to greatness. What has held them back is a leadership invested in the status quo, which excludes the majority to benefit only a few. A politics comfortable with keeping millions in want and indignity to preserve the illegitimate privileges of a few, and a resultant institutional system in which the disenfranchisement of ordinary people is the yardstick of public policy. This should and must change. A new paradigm, my dear Kenyans, must be negotiated. There is an inevitable clash of ideologies at the moment that go beyond a mere conflict over choices. It extends to a disagreement between us as to who between the few who wield power in the executive, legislature, and in the judiciary, and everyone else without distinction, who are the legitimate targets and beneficiaries of public policy. We are at the moment of reflection that calls us to revisit the first principles of our civil and political understanding, reevaluate the terms of our social contract, and place Kenyans, the ones we sometimes call ordinary, at the center of all national discourse. As we do this, we must appreciate one indisputable fact. Freedom is our lifeblood and identity. We are a society defined by opportunity, founded on free enterprise and democracy, where competition and merit are underpinned by compassion, inclusivity, and a strong sense of collective interest. Public policy must therefore respect, uphold, and promote this fundamental character, enhancing our aspirations by ensuring that everyone, and I repeat, everyone must be seen and heard, and that no one, and I repeat again, no one is left behind. For us to remain a viable nation-building project, every Kenyan must be represented at the decision-making table. The public interest is safeguarded by our constitutional dispensation, providing for the implementation of state policy for the benefit of all citizens, not some citizens. This includes the implementation of social and economic rights, a progressive economy creating jobs and wealth, fighting corruption, controlling wastage, supporting public institutions, and protecting freedom and the rule of law. This perspective radically increases the number of possible winners and dramatically diminishes likely losers. Yet, every new way of doing things can threaten the privileges of a dominant minority and alienate the beneficiaries of an unjust system. Whenever this happens, ladies and gentlemen, their associates can attempt to hijack national institutions, turning them into anti-people weapons for a select privileged few and saboteurs of inclusive transformation for the majority. We are, unfortunately, at such a moment in our national history. The question is, how do we proceed from this point? The people of Kenya have made great sacrifices to immensely facilitate us, their leaders, and all public servants, for us to do the very best that we can in making this country work for everyone, and in making sure that our institutions protect and increase opportunities for wealth and employment for all. The people of Kenya have also invested in providing us, their leaders, in all arms of government with generous welfare and other benefits, including medical and housing benefits that they can only dream of, in the expectation that we shall in turn safeguard their opportunities to access either commensurate, if not similar, benefits. We must recognize, ladies and gentlemen, the extraordinary privilege that has been bestowed on us to serve this nation as members of the cabinet, the civil society, the security services, members of parliament, county governments, the judiciary, or in the commissions and independent offices. Accordingly, we are under solemn obligation to dedicate all our time, energy, and abilities to the advancement of the people's aspirations and the improvement of their well-being. In other words, the very best of our professional and moral and intellectual capabilities must be summoned in the service of the nation. And as trustees of the people, we are duty-bound to exercise public authority and deploy public resources to the best of our judgment and discretion with the public interest in our mind. Our understanding of public interest must be aligned with the imperative to enhance the social contract and be connected with the urgent need to increase opportunities and transform the landscape of possibilities. Let us therefore reflect very deeply about the ways in which we act and speak in the name of the Constitution. We must ensure that institutional independence does not mutate into impunity and avoidance of accountability. We must be cautious lest our professed pursuit of constitutionalism and obedience to the law turns into an empty ritual and hollow vanity for the majority of citizens. We must take abundant care that our aim to protecting or advancing the people's rights does not deny them legitimate opportunities or make a mockery of their struggles and their aspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when a public servant enjoying a house mortgage at 3% interest makes a decision to frustrate the housing program, robbing millions of young people employment prospects and denying millions of Kenyans the chance to own a home like them. This is also the case when a public officer who benefits from unlimited medical insurance invokes the law to derail the universal health care delivery, denying millions of vulnerable Kenyans a health cover, just like the one they have. It is also the case when a politician neglects the boundaries of democratic competition, that opposing policy, government policy for that matter, does not permit undermining the nation or sabotaging the national interest or the welfare of the people. In conclusion, the last general elections were a watershed moment for our nation. We finally came of age and set a new record, confirming to all and sundry that Kenya is a robust democracy. We turned over a new leaf, writing a fresh chapter in the Kenyan narrative. The era of ethnicity and ethnic political mobilization was well behind us. The anarchy of election violence was firmly relegated to the past. And more importantly, the people, not the system, had the final say. This new narrative of a new Kenya is what we have built upon for the past 1 year. We have established a new profile for Kenya, providing regional and global leadership, highlighted by hosting the first ever Africa Climate Summit. Nairobi is recognized now as the best city to visit in 2024 by the US-based travel agency Lonely Planet. And Kenya stands as the third highest recipient of remittances according to World Bank. Accordingly, our country holds the third position as a globally attractive destination for foreign direct investment in 2024. Kenya has also achieved the status of the best adventure tourism destination in Africa and ranks 10th globally. With our newly crafted global positioning as the home of humankind and a visa-free regime, we are poised to double our tourist arrivals, expand opportunities for thousands of hospitality facilities, and create millions of jobs. This represents the new branding, the new profile, the new narrative to propel the nation we all love to the next level. I urge all Kenyans, especially leaders, to build on the Kenya that celebrates diversity and not ethnic bigotry. A Kenya free of anarchy and violence. and a nation not founded on negativity, but a new positive narrative that is gaining momentum globally. It is important for us to remind one another of what really is at stake. We have come some encouraging way amid enormous challenges and significant difficulties. Our path will be easier, our journey will be faster, and our progress smoother if we all remember that the people of Kenya have interests that dictate our job descriptions and form the terms of our employment. Let us remember this always, and remember that with the new year comes our opportunity to do much more and much better. And that is why I wish every Kenyan, irrespective of their status, irrespective of their station, irrespective of where they live, a blessed, progressive, and successful 2024. Na nitarudia niseme kwa Wakenya wote, mahali popote mlipo, mwaka wa 2024 ni mwaka wa baraka. Mungu ametupatia taifa, ametupatia nchi yenye baraka nyingi, ametupatia mambo mengi. Kenya leo imepata heshima duniani kote. Kenya leo inatambulika. Ni jukumu letu kujenga taifa letu. Good people, we have a great country. It is our responsibility to make it greater. And we have a moment in history to do just that. And I'm asking all of us leaders, all of us Kenyans, to work together to move our country, the country we all love, to the next level. Thank you. I again wish each and every one of you a great year ahead, as I ask the people of Nakuru who lost some family members today, that we ask God to empathize with you as we empathize with you, that God is going to give the grace to the families that lost their loved ones today in Nakuru County, and those that did in Nyeri and a few other areas during this season. We wish them God's grace, and that God will comfort them and give them safe passage, even as we celebrate the new year. We stand with the families who have lost their loved ones. I want to say to all of us, asanteni sana. I know we will be here for a while as we wait for for midnight. Welcome to this celebration, and my very best wishes in 2024. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Tumpongeze rais kwa makofi tena. Asante sana.
Ucio ni mutongoria wa bururi Ndagitari William Ruto arikia gukirekereria ndumiriri yake ya kuhinga mwaka wa 2023 ari thingiraini wa iregi na kuria endithiria Kenya mwaka mwega mweru wa mwaka wa 2024. Ngihutia manini ma maundu maria akorwo akihutiriria ni agweta ati bururi ni urakoretwo gumirwo ni maũritũ maingĩ arĩ hamwe na ũcenjia wa rĩera ũrĩa ũragĩcũngĩrĩirie ng'aragu nene na gũgĩcũngĩrĩria thogora wa indo gũkĩambatĩra na mũtũrĩre gũkĩritũhĩra a Kenya, na nĩkĩo thirikari ya Kenya Kwanza ĩhotorete gũkinyũkithia Kenya makinya manene arĩ hamwe na gũgĩtua matua maritũ marĩa Mũkenya arona kwa ihinda rĩrĩ arĩ mũrigo mũnene no nĩ megũkorwo marĩ na umithio. Ũndũ ũmwe na thirikari no ĩragĩthiĩ na mbere na gwĩtura mĩeke ya mawĩra gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ na ningĩ nja wa bũrũri kũrĩa ekiranĩire kana president ekiranĩire ngirimiti na mabũrũri ma nanja kũrĩa a Kenya megũkorwo makĩona mĩeke ya mawĩra na gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ kũhĩtũkĩra waki wa nyũmba cia raithi. Thirikari ya Kenya Kwanza nĩ hotete gũtura mĩeke ya mawĩra 120,000. Macio nĩ mamwe ma marĩa akorwo akĩhutĩrĩria kwa ihinda rĩrĩ. Ndĩramenyithio twambe tũgĩikĩrie oro hanini nĩ tũgũkorwo tũgĩcokereria ndũkenyenye mũtambo ũcio.
Kids, this holiday season, Star Times is keeping the fun times rolling.
Absolutely awesome!
Enjoy more playdates with your besties Jim Jam and ST Kids.
It's hero time!
Save the world with our superheroes on Toonami. Visit cool places with Mindset Learn and Da Vinci Kids. More fun and sing along with CBeebies and Baby TV. Super boost the fun times with Cartoon Channel and Boing. Pay your monthly subscription and top up 150 shillings only to get access to all our kids' channels to see more of our world of adventure on fantastic channels. Download the Star Times app to enjoy all your favorite kids shows on the go. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Ihinda rĩa kuoya ikinya wĩgĩre kanyamũ wĩige stress thĩ nĩrĩo rĩrĩ. Ndeto mwaki irĩ haha. Rĩu no wĩhotanĩre kuma 10,000 nginyagia 300,000 ndagĩka ĩno. Nĩ ũndũ mũhũthũ mũno. Ũraingĩra M-Pesa ũgekĩra paybill number 155571. Account ũgekĩra Kameme. Nayo amount nĩ ciringi 50 gũthiĩ nginya 1,000. Tumuloto marakwĩra ndũkamaĩrĩrie nĩamu ĩno nĩyo njĩra hũthũ kwĩhotanĩra kuma 10,000 nginyagia 300,000. Mũthako ũyũ nĩ mũhĩtũkĩire BCLB na ndũtĩkĩrĩte gũthakwo nĩ mũndũ wa thĩ wa mĩaka 18.
Mimi nakwambia matrix zetu zote leo jo zimekataa.
Zote zimeuma nje.
Hebu leteni hiyo simu hapa. Nitawafundisha mpaka lini? Ndio hiyo. Sasa hii mwatuma kwa kila contact zake.
Umeweza.
Ndio hiyo. Kazi kwako.
Beti sasa. Aki please nitumie saa hizi. Wanataka kuchukua simu yangu. Tuma haraka.
Mbona wachukue simu juu ya fare? Sawa, wacha nikutumie. Beti, una sound different. Uko sure ni wewe? Ama nyinyi ni wale mnaswap sim card za watu? Kuisha nyinyi. Na wa report saa hii kwa 333.
Are you receiving unknown calls or SMSs? Stop. Jiulize, ni ukweli ama ni con? Report conmen. SMS their number to 333.
Christian Industrial Training Center CITC Nairobi. Tunakodhisha diploma na certificate ta engineering, business, ICT, hospitality, motor vehicle mechanics, electrical engineering, hairdressing and beauty, fashion and design na ingĩ nyingĩ. Mũciari, ndũgathinĩkane gwa gũtwara mwana waku ũrĩa ũrekire KCSE nĩ amu CITC Nairobi twĩna arutani makinyanĩirie ikĩro, computer labs, hostels cia anake na airĩtu na nĩtwethagira arutwo attachment. Igeranio citũ nĩ cia NEC, NITA, KASNEB na JP International. Tũcerere Nairobi Pumwani, General Waroingi Meru Road kurigana na ACK St John. No tuhorere thimo kana WhatsApp 0732896788 kana 0722954039. Intake nĩ ĩrathiĩ na mbere. Christian Industrial Training Center Nairobi. Education that works.
Roll up, roll up. Welcome to DSTV Land. The most awesomest place to spend your holidays. All the best shows. Oh, yeah! All the best best buddies.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Let the holiday fun begin.
Now, let's get this party started. Woo!
Only on DSTV.
Gicokereria oro ringio ni Mutamburuko wa Mohoro. Hihi no ukorwo gitumenyithia urarugiria mwaka waku wiku, mwaka mweru urawiyukiria wiku, no ukorwo gitwandikira ndumiriri ciaku. Hihi ni matanya mariku urerigirira mwaka wa 2024 na ni maundu mariku marakurituhire mwaka uyu turakiinikiriria muthenya wa umuthi. Akenya mari kundu gutiganite magithagathaga kurugia mwaka na njira itiganite guku kaunti-ini ya Nairobi. Kuri na ndumo nene iria ihariirio unyitaniri-ini ya ceceni ya Kameme TV udumwe na ceceni ya Kameme FM. Mwandiki witu Gitawa wa Jiko auria uri mwena ucio kana thiini wa kiharo kia Absa guku kaunti-ini ya Nairobi niwe tugukorwo tukinyitanira nake atumenyithie mwago guku kana haria ari woikairia te. Gitawa wa Jiko okorwo ni urakijigua hi no ugitutariria kana andu ni makiyumiritie gukorwo makinyitanira na Kenya aria ngi gukirugia mwaka na kunyita ugeni uyu roka wa 2024. Gitao okorwo ni urajigua we kiharo-ini kia Absa guku kaunti-ini ya Nairobi kuri na ndumo iria thagathagitwo ni ceceni ya Kameme TV na Kameme FM. Hihi no ukorwo gitumenyithia andu meyumiritie na njira ihana atia?
Rwa hema thiini wa kiharo kia Absa grounds na ni hakuhe na university wa KCA kuri ndumo ya Kameme ona ikorwo ni uramithikiriria background ati ndumo yo ni nyitete mwaki muno iguru. Macambeki ni makinyite kwa uingi, aini ni mambitie kuingira na kuoguo mehaririria na ndumo yo ni anjiriirie uria kwagiriire. Tugakorwo tugikurehera imwe kwa imwe kuma kiwanja giki gukwira aiko nduri urakinya wikinye thiini wa kiharo giki kia Absa ground nigetha ukorwo ugikenanira na family ya Media Max na tondu ni ndumo ya Kameme guku thiini wa kiharo giki na iko ni urakorwo ugikinya guku no ciringi 500 ukuingira haria gate-ini guthie regular okwenda guthie VIP ni 1,500 wenda kuingira haria ni VVIP na hathondeketwo hakagira oko ni gia kuria ki hau oko ni gia kunywa ni kiagiru na rwimbo ni tu kogo hare hothe ukorwo githura ukorwo wi thiini ukorwo gikena ukorwo kicanjamurwo ni aini aria meritwa na aini nguthi thiini wa bururi uyu. Twambiriirio ni Ben Gethae ni akorwo agikinyia ni akorwo agicanjamura andu haha. Kwina mzima uria kiugaga cindambio ni akorwo agicanjamura andu haha. Samido ni akorwo agikinyia guku, Wanjeni ni akorwo agikinyia guku, aini aingi mekorwo magicanjamura mafans a Kameme na mafans a Media Max thiini wa kiharo giki kia Absa grounds. Twakorwo tugikunyita ugeni tukauga uke na uke na twarafa na ndukiriganirwo ni igoti ndukariganirwo ni burana tondu wahota kuina uthigine ucoke ona ukorwo ikuhutia koguo ni uke wibangite ukorwo ukimenya atiriri ni kurugia mwaka na turarugia mwaka in style. Uke wihariirie tukorwo tugikenerera ati mwaka ucio wothe ni twakorwo tugitirithania twakorwo tukinyitanira wega mwaka mugituthikiriria mwakorwo mugituona na twakorwo ndugu itu imatite. Reke tuke tuhinge mwaka wa 2023 na gikeno na ndumo. Koguo nie kuma mwena wa Absa ground no gukwira atiriri maundu ni hindi meharira maundu ni hindi marambiriria ucereirwo wikinyie na wiharirie nigetha tukorwo tukiina tukorwo tukiuga gathoni onawe wakirikia mohoro ukorwo ugikinya guku tugaga bunja mifupa bado meno ikiwa na ndamya wema wega ukiri namo uke na uke na twarafa uke to dance uke to hura rwimbo iria ciaku ni njui we ni cia haria gabere no gucigua guku kogo gikinya guku tukorwo tukinyitania nawe tukorwo tukumenyithia na thaa thita kana mathamo maikinya makuruga mwaka no tukorwo nawe tugikumenyithia uria maundu matarie mwena uyu kuma kiharo-ini kia Absa ground Thika Road riakwa nä gä tago wa njiko gathoni å thaikorwo na kä å ria å guo nä guo maå ndå matariä
muno makiria gitawa wa njiko nä ma nä tå gå ka twä humbä te wega nguo cia heho ndå mwe na raba tå korwo tå kä nyitanä ra na andå arä a magä kinyä tie kä haro-inä kä a absa gå korwo makä rå gia mwaka. Aya nä tå gå ikä ria oro hanini nä tå gå korwo tå gä cokereria oro rä ngä ndå gagä thi kå raihu.
Mimi nakwambia matrix zetu zote leo jo zimekataa.
Zote zimeuma nje.
Hebu leteni hiyo simu hapa. Nitawafundisha mpaka lini? Ndio hiyo. Sasa hii mwatuma kwa kila contact zake.
Umeweza.
Ndio hiyo. Kazi kwako.
Beti sasa. Aki please nitumie saa hizi. Wanataka kuchukua simu yangu. Tuma haraka.
Mbona achukue simu juu ya fare? Sawa, wacha nikutumie. Beti, una sound different. Uko sure ni wewe? Ama nyinyi ni wale mnaswap sim card za watu? Kuisha nyinyi. Na wa report saa hii kwa 333.
Are you receiving unknown calls or SMSs? Stop. Jiulize, ni ukweli ama ni con? Report conmen. SMS their number to 333.
Uncover the mystery behind some of Kenya's most infamous murders.
There is a pastor, he wants us to be prayer partners. I told her, Christian, please, no.
A relationship everyone was envious of. This is a model and this is a photographer here.
Wewe ulienda Shakahola lini? How did they all happen? What's the journey that led these victims to their last door?
Nikaona Agnes kwa mlango wakivutana na mzungu.
We want closure for this case now. Enough is enough.
Both victims of police beatings.
Na maana watoto wako wanauawa nje.
He would have gone places, man. He could have changed the world.
Watch season 2 of The Last Door, premiering on January the 7th, 2024 on Maisha Magic Plus.
Cheza kama wewe na cheza sita. Wehotanira ginyagia maita ngiri 5 ma beti yaku teke teke. Yes, ni huthu. Hihinya *675# uthake na namba 6 cia munyaka kuma 1 nginya 6. Ikira muigana wa beti yaku kuma 50 tu wehotanira ginyagia maita ngiri 5 hau hau. Cheza kama wewe na cheza sita. Wigire mweke muhari miekene ya gutuika muhotani. Hihinya *675# uthake o riu. Mundu utakinyetie miaka 18 ndagathake. Thaka na uigiririki.